Hello everyone, welcome or welcome back. We are live. Okay, so tonight we're doing something very different. We're gonna paint this glass. If you haven't watched my videos, you can go to YouTube. The address is in the description. And then I told you that I would use black and white to paint this glass. I realized that I'm out of black, so that's fine. That's fine. I'm going to paint with blue and brown to make gray, and of course the usual suspect, white. So this shows you that when you don't have the right color or colors, you don't need to run to the store. You don't need to freak out. You just need to paint anyway. All right. So let's get started. This is more work because you have to make sure that it is symmetrical, even if we're not doing a realistic detailed painting. You don't want something that is strikingly off, right? So I'm going to show you how to draw this glass easily, if not quickly. So let's work on the let's place the tablecloth first. All right. I always keep my compositions very simple. Here you have you have 1/3 of table on the bottom and 2/3 of background. All right. So we're going to place this first. About this much. Yeah, 2/3, 1/3 here. Because it's clear and transparent, I'm not going to paint the background first before I get my my drawing right. Next, you want to place the size of the glass. So let's place the bottom. So I know that I cannot go below that, and the top. And I won't go above that line. So this glass is, I guess, designed in proportion. You have half of the bottom and half of the top. So that's what you want to do to get proportions right. You place the end, the beginning and the end of any object, any subject, the height and also the width. So the width, you cannot eyeball, right? My canvas is a little bit wider than the reference photo. So I'm going to eyeball the width of the glass. I'm going to place the left side here and the right side. Just imagine it's a long rectangle or a cylinder cut in half. So you have the top, and then the base is not as wide as the top. So the left side is about there, and the right side there. I'm sorry, what I should have done before everything to control the symmetry is to cut in half the glass. So about half and half. So I eyeball this, but if you want the exact distance, right? If you want to check that it's the same distance from the left to the center and the center to the right, if you have a ruler, that's great. If you don't, you use the tip of your brush, you hold it, you place it to the end, and you move your finger like so, your nail, you place it in the center on the line, and you report the distance. You can see it's the same. You eyeball or you measure. Okay. It doesn't have to be perfect because we're doing a loose painting, as long as it's not this much of the left side and this side. Obviously, in that case, the line is not centered. So that's all I need. I have the top here, the base, and the handle is very skinny, so I can play with that line. It's that simple. You can imagine this glass, the top could fit inside a rectangle, and skinny, and the base this high and this wide. Right? So now the base, we're now going to talk about the ellipse. Right? The ellipse is this oval shape for the base and the top. Right? So imagine it's a cylinder, and you see the hole and the bottom, and you imagine the hidden part of your cylinder. So it's easy because once you have the top, you look at how big the opening is, place the bottom of the opening, and then you sketch an oval shape. So that's an easy one, but you still have to practice this shape because when it's complicated, you'll be lost. Right? So you place the width. I mean, from the center line, you place the left side and the right side. You get the width. And you place the height, bottom, top, before sketching your oval shape, aka ellipse. Now it's not an ellipse, but you need to curve now your rectangle to have the base of the top. So that is not complicated, I would say. You start from the top. Let's keep it simple. We're going to keep this straight, and from the middle, about the middle here, you're going to curve your line . to connect here to your vertical line. You will do the same thing on this side. You start from the top, you keep it straight, from about the middle here, half, the middle. You curve your line. Now, it's not really a straight line here, right? It's actually more curvy, because I place the left side of my ellipse here and there on the right side. I'm going to draw outside of that line to create this bumpy part here. You can see that it's not a straight line. Okay? It's bumpy outward. See that? It's not straight, it's bumpy. So it's going to change also the curve. This brown curve here is going to change a little bit. So I start from the top, the left side of my ellipse. I sketch on the outside and adjust my curve here. That looks better. And I'm going to do the same thing on the right side. Start from the top, sketch on the outside of my rectangle, and adjust the curve. So make sure you face your drawing to see better if it's symmetrical. You have the same size on the left side of that line, on the right side, left side, and right side. I think it looks good. Again, it's a loose style, so it's not going to be perfect, but there's nothing off. So now I'm going to paint the background. You can use black, right? A solid black. I'm using, I'll show you my palette here tonight. I'm using ultramarine blue and burnt umber and white. So I'm going to mix blue and brown to get a dark gray, as dark as possible. So it's going to be 50% of blue, 50% of brown, about, right? To get something very dark. And because it's not a perfect mix, 50%, 50%, I might have some brownish and bluish hues for the background, which is fine. Okay? It's nicer than a solid black, but you can use straight black straight from the tube. I was going to keep things simple. Now feel free to play with blue and brown if you want a nice gray or a different tone than just a solid black. So that's easy. I paint next to my line. The paint dries pretty fast because it's hot. So take your time to paint the background. This allows you to, in this case, mix two colors. And if you're not used to acrylic, it's the best time to practice blending, color mixing, and controlling the paint. Feel the paint, how much you can do with it. And I hope that it's also relaxing to paint something abstract. You're not stressed about painting detailed and realistic. Now, if you're still sketching, that's fine. Take your time. You can actually paint the background later, right? If you need more time on the drawing, it's okay, right? The background is dark, the tablecloth is white, so we can always paint that later. So I'm going to give you more time to finish the glass if needed. Now, you don't have to paint the whole background, right? But you do need to paint around the glass, because I'm going to show you how to paint glass and something transparent and reflections, right? So finish your drawing, paint around the glass, the top. You can paint the tablecloth later. We don't really need the tablecloth to be painted. You can always paint a grayish glass and the reflections and the transparent base, and finish painting the tablecloth later. So my background is not perfectly covered, but as always, I like it abstract, and I like that some base color shows through or between my strokes. So I think that's fine. I'm going to finish this side. So there's more blue because I didn't mix well. 50% of blue, 50% of brown. It's very noticeable. That's why I mentioned that. So I mix again here. The blue with more brown, and then blue again. Like so. feel free to leave a comment or ask any question. I will answer them after the demo. There you go. And that's good enough. I'm going to paint quickly around the base with white only. And then I'm going to show how to paint the inside of the glass. How to paint something transparent. It's easier than you think, really. Once you understand the difference between the dark colors, the medium, and the highlights, it creates something transparent. After that, you just practice, 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 as always. So my base color is like a grayish. It's not bad after all. Maybe I won't paint white around it. I mean now. Okay, I'm going to paint the base, show you how it's done, and I'll decide whether I want to paint the tablecloth. Okay. So now, let's save the base for later. I'm going to paint the middle here. The of course you know it, but how to do that in terms of colors? Okay. You see through the glass the background that is black. Therefore, it makes the glass lighter. It's transparent. It's not crystal clear. That's why it's like a, I'll call it, a barrier. Okay, you can't really see through the exact color. So I'm just going to paint, you want to paint a lighter gray. So in my case, I go back mixing brown and blue and a lot of white. And let's try. As a general rule, always paint light, any color. It's easier to darken something light than the opposite. Obviously, this is too light. So I'm going to stop saying brown and blue every time. I'm just going to talk about gray, right? Since you're using black. On the picture, there's some brownish, because the background is not a solid dark black. And depending on the lighting in the room, the glass is somewhat brownish. So you're not going to get exactly the same colors on your painting. Okay. So try to find a like light gray, but not too light. Just so it reads that you see the background through the glass. So I think it's working. I like my grayish here. I see the glass and the background through the glass. So it's not a solid gray because you have the room reflecting on the glass here, right? So at the bottom, you have the reflection of the tablecloth, and the top is the dark room. And I think this part here is probably the ceiling reflecting. I can't remember what was reflecting when I took the picture. Anyhow, it's not a solid gray. I try to leave some strokes that creates reflections. Leave some, you're gonna get some happy accidents, and that'll give you the impression of the glass. So that's what I'm doing. So I see some dark shapes. That's the back of the room reflecting. So I paint that. You start to see that it's not a solid color. Okay? Light, which could be the ceiling. The base here, lighter. That's really the tablecloth reflecting. So that's the top here of the table. I don't want to make it too obvious, but I want you to see the difference. Light gray, dark gray, medium. So you don't need to do too much, really. As long as you see it's not just a solid gray, it's going to work. It's going to read as we see it through the glass, the background. All right. Oh, I forgot the top part. Please write down in the comment if you remember what this shape is called. Okay. The top shape and the bottom shape. What this shape is called. So write the name. I just want to make sure that you're listening. Just kidding. All right. Now, to adjust this side here, the background. Now let's paint the bottom. So here, you have the reflection of the background, or you see the background through. It's a dark line, skinny line. Right. Now, let's paint the base. It has to be darker than the tablecloth. So it's got basically the same gray, about the same gray. I'm going to make it lighter. And when I paint the reflections, the illusion of glass will be much better. Right. I want to darken more the top. So darker gray. Looks more like glass. All right, so now I'm going to paint the reflections. And for that, I'm going to use a smaller brush. For the outline, some small parts as well. Okay, so I'm switching, I'm going from my half-inch brush to my quarter-inch brush. Let's paint the obvious. This side. It doesn't have to be a perfect clear line because we're doing, it's a loose style, right? Let's do the same thing on the other side. I'll have to readjust my background, the outline. I think it's not quite symmetrical, both sides. So let's finish the reflection. So can you see the magic happening? Because of the different values, yeah? Light gray, dark gray, medium gray, and the white, you have the illusion of glass, and you see through the glass, the background. It's always going to be about that. Different colors. Medium, I mean light, medium, and dark colors. That's what creates shapes and gives you the illusion of things. If it works at this stage, you decide to go for more realistic, it's going to work no matter what, because this works already. Going for realism is just painting better the other shapes and the colors and the textures. So if you get to this stage, pat yourself on the back. If it looks like glass, if you have the right grays, you're on the right track. Okay. So I'm going to paint a lighter, slightly darker gray. The reflection in the center is not as bright as on both sides. If you didn't paint this reflection, it will still work anyway. It just part of tonight's picture, right? beside the shape, what matters is that you have medium, dark, and the reflections. Even the gray here, it's good. Right? You see the background through the glass. When I need to finish, it's the top here. You have reflections. So I hold my brush like that, okay, and I'm going to paint. I rest my knuckle on the canvas in this case, and I'm going to paint this curve here. I look at the symmetry, right? It's working. Paint the top. And there. Okay, I'm just going to adjust the edge here. That looks better. There's some more darker gray here on this side. Okay, I hope you're having fun. Are you learning something? Now let's finish the base. You have the reflection here. I think I'm going to leave the tablecloth as is. And then let's paint more reflections to give more dimension to the base. What I'm going to ask you, what should I do? Okay, leave. Let me know in the comment. Should I paint the tablecloth white or leave it as is? So I look at the small parts where it's reflecting. I hope it's working for you. The illusion of glass with light, medium, and dark gray, and the reflections. On this side, also because the tablecloth is light, seeing through should not be this dark, so I'm going to paint this lighter. That's better. Let's do something on this side, a little bit lighter. So the base is thick. So I want to show that. And let's finish with the reflections on the right side. So just white. brighter on this side. And it could be brighter right there. So that's pretty much it. Here I need to check that it's very straight. Let's make some adjustment. It's a little bit slightly bent. It's not much, but it bothered me, so it's fixed, I think. I'm going to paint the strong reflection here. And I think I'll be done for tonight. So I think it makes, I hope it makes sense what we did. Playing with light, medium, and dark gray. I hope you got the shape right. I'll soften the edge here. I hope you got the shapes right, and then the colors and the right reflections in the right spot, but created the illusion of transparency. A glass, you see through a glass, you see the different reflections. So how many of you want me to paint the tablecloth? Let me check. All right. Okay, well, I think I'm ready to sign. I'm going to sleep on it for the tablecloth. So how hard was it? Now you know how to paint glass, reflections, and a transparent material. Let's sign it. So not too dark, a light gray. So I hope next time to be back on YouTube. I will let you know. Et voilà. So I hope you learned something. Keep practicing. Paint anyway. and see you next week.